What's up, y'all? It's Ty. We're back with my tier list. Yes, we don't have to react to a tier list because I've got my own tier list to throw at you guys. It's Monday. Hopefully, you guys are having a blessed Monday. Get your coffee out. Get this week started in the right way with a Ty tier list. How we doing, man? Excited to have you guys here and excited to bring you guys the point guard tier list. We got a lot of studs at the point guard position. We do. But I will say this. I don't think there's one point guard on this game right now that is head and shoulders above the rest. There might be one that I like more than everybody else, but I don't think and again, I maybe we do in MJ, but I don't even think he really he exists, but he's not accessible. So again, we'll bring it to you guys, but I just don't know, the point guard position is deep, but I don't know how top heavy it is the point I am trying to make. Gonna start off with Pistol Pete Maravich. Disgusting. This card is absolutely disgusting on this game. I remember a couple of years ago, whenever Pistol Pete came out, he'd be one of the best offensive guards in the game because his release was so good. That's no longer the case. Pistol Pete Maravich is D tier. Marcus Smart up next. He's good for budget cards. That's about it, though. He's a 3-and-D type point guard. He's fine. Can't really create his own shot. I do like him for his, no money spent value. But when it comes down to ranking him on the best point guards in the game, C tier, maybe B tier, right? He has the potential to maybe go up a tier, but for now, I'm going to leave him at C tier. Caruso, C tier as well. Whether you like Caruso or Marcus Smart more, I think is really personal preference. I think both cards are C tier. They both give you about the same thing. Honestly, I think they're both better than Galaxy Opal Derrick Rose. I don't know why people like Derrick Rose in this game. Yes, he dunks the ball well, but people want to gas Derrick Rose's release. His release is not good. I don't know why anybody would want to gas that release of Derrick Rose. It's just not great. It's just not, it's just not ideal. It's not one of my favorite releases in the game. It's fine, but I do think he is deserving of that D tier. Big O Oscar Robertson up next. A tier or S tier? That's the question of the day. For now, I'm going to leave him in A tier. A month ago, he would have been S tier. It's just we've got better and better point guards in the game. I think Big O is deserving of that A tier. Baron Davis, I don't know, man. It's Baron Davis isn't horrible, but he's not great. And I'm not going to go on 2K database for everybody. But it's when I look at Baron Davis, the Joe Ingles upper is just dog water. I feel like defensively he's good enough, has a better player build. You could argue C tier, and I guess for the sake of this video, I'll argue C tier because I think he's better than Derrick Rose. But I don't love Baron Davis, so I'm gonna put him in D tier. I don't care. Lonzo Ball is C tier, and you guys are gonna argue, Ty, how is Lonzo Ball better than a guy like a Baron Davis? To me, it's really simple. Lonzo Ball is 6'6". He's gonna play way better defense than a guy like Baron Davis. It's really that simple, that easy. The guys at C tier are gonna defend way better than the guys at D tier. Could move Pistol Pete down a tier. Magic Johnson, D tier. I don't think he's quite F tier, right? Pink Diamond Magic still gives you the ability to knock down shots. Magic gives you the ability to play decent defense. I still think he is deserving of that D tier. Jerry West, the logo up next. D tier as well. Look, I got Jerry West out of my Galaxy Opal from salary cap on my no money spent, and he does not play. I'm telling you, Marcus Smart, Alex Caruso, Lonzo Ball, all better than the card. Sidney Moncrief up next is really solid. Is he A tier? I think for now I'm going to put him at A tier. I do think Oscar is better than Sidney Moncrief, but I think Sidney Moncrief plays enough defense to be at A tier. Sidney Moncrief might get moved down to B tier, though. We'll have to wait and see. Could possibly get moved down to B tier. This one might surprise some people. Zach LaVine's Pink Diamond. He's going to go at A tier. I think he is this level of good. And I know people are going to be like, Ty, what? He's a Pink Diamond, and at this stage, he's not that. Look, Zach LaVine is still absolutely elite on this game. He is my point guard on my no money spent. He plays on my, on my main account right now as well. I'm telling you right now, Zach LaVine is still absolutely elite on this game. Jason Kidd up next. I think he's got to, I'm going to put Jason Kidd and Sidney Moncrief at B tier. I think they are our first B tier level of cards. And maybe we'll have to shift this list down eventually. But I like Jason Kidd. I like Sidney Moncrief. The hard part is I just like Zach LaVine and Oscar Robertson slightly more than those couple of cards. Russell Westbrook, as time goes on, I don't hate Russell Westbrook, but as time goes on, I feel like his release just gets midder and mid. His release is not great. Yes, he dunks the ball well. Yes, I don't mind his player build, but I think B tier is the right tier at this stage for Russell Westbrook. Michael Carter Williams, I don't see why people gas him, honestly. I know he's 6'6", But like genuinely, when people want to hype up Michael Carter-Williams and lock in the exchange for this card, I'm like, I mean, what are you doing? Like, the card is not that good whatsoever. He's going at C tier. I don't see it with Michael Carter-Williams. AI up next, F tier. He's our first F tier. He's just too small to play. Now, if you want to cook with AI, do what you guys got to do. I'm just saying, I personally think he is an F tier card. Devin Booker up next. I'm still putting him in A tier. I played against the Devin Booker and King of the Court this past weekend. And when I say Devin Booker was absolutely cooking me, trust me, he was absolutely cooking me. He was hitting every contested shot. I think it was in King of the Court. Maybe it was in Showdown game. But he was hitting literally every contested shot. I could not guard him to save my life. Devin Booker is A tier. He absolutely is. Steve Nash up next, gross F tier. Dennis Johnson actually is pretty solid. I think Dennis Johnson does deserve the B tier. You could argue A tier for Dennis Johnson. I just think because of the lack of offense, he does belong in that B tier. Diamond Michael Ray Richardson, I mean, I think he's got to go C tier. One thing about Michael Ray Richardson is I feel like his release is actually not that slow. I feel like he greens a decent amount of shots. I think C tier is where you got to go with Diamond Michael Ray Richardson. Up next, Galaxy Opal Penny. Another tough one. Not really. He's A tier. Right there with Oscar. I think he's better than Oscar. I think he's probably the best card at A tier. But if you're S, I just don't think you can go S tier with Penny Hardaway. The card is really good, but he is a really good A tier. Now here we got the couple of Dwayne Wades, right? Pro Pass D Wade is A tier. Okay? No money spent D Wade is B tier. I mean, no money spent D Wade has one of the slowest releases in the game. Or not slowest releases in the game. It is pretty slow, but he's still head and shoulders above everybody at C tier, right? Like, C tier are my defensive point guards. Dark Matter D Wade, no money spent version is still better than all those guys. He's a B tier point guard. Pro Pass D Wade, I still absolutely love. He is just an A tier point guard. You guys might be like, Ty, who is going to go at S tier? We'll get to them eventually. Pink Diamond Shea, A tier. I can't go S tier with him. And I used Pink Diamond Shea for the longest time, but if you look at his defense, he is not an S tier caliber defensive point guard in this game. He's just not. He lacks a little bit. Card is still really good, but he is A tier. Here's where things get difficult with Galaxy Opal Donovan Mitchell, because I really like Galaxy Opal Donovan Mitchell. I think the card is an absolute beast. But when you look at the card, D-Mitch base only on normal. Defensively is pretty solid. Badge-wise pretty solid. But I think I've got to go B tier. And, I mean, my release for this Galaxy Opal Donovan Mitchell has changed, or my opinion on him has changed over time. But I think he's more of that B tier level. He's not bad, but I think that's where he belongs. Pink Diamond Cade, I think, is better than Mitchell. I honestly prefer Zach LaVine to Cade. Some people like Cade more than Zach LaVine. I got Cade unsellable on my main account. I just prefer Zach LaVine. Card's good, though. A tier is where he belongs. Pink Diamond Derek White, B tier. Still really like Derek White, man. Plays a lot of defense. The reason he's above these cards at C tier really lie with the fact that his release is just better. Diamond Dyson Daniels. Somebody asked me the other day this exact question. Ty, if you have a Dyson Daniels with 20 plus Hall of Famers compared to a base Penny Hardaway, who is better? Probably Dyson Daniels, right? But if you're looking at a base Dyson Daniels compared to a Penny Hardaway, who's better? I think it's tough. I think you've got to go A tier with Dyson, though, which is crazy because I used to really not be super high on Dyson Daniels. But when you look at the card, he's 6'7". He plays incredibly good defense, and he knocks down open shots. Like, he's C tier on steroids. I'm going to throw him at the low end of A tier. I think that's where he belongs. Ja Morant, Galaxy Opal, C tier. He's better than the guys at D tier, but he's still C tier. Galaxy Opal, John Wall. I'm going to go low end of A tier, or mid tier A tier. Honestly, like, John Wall's release is so quick that I think you've got to respect it. It's almost too quick for some people, though. So just kind of know that, be aware that if you're struggling with John Wall, it might just be because his release is too fast. But I like John Wall. I think his defense is actually pretty solid. A tier. Dark Matter James Harden is our first S tier point guard. James Harden is so good offensively. He plays a ton of defense. He has his release on very quick. James Harden is an absolute stud in this game. He is absolutely an S tier caliber point guard on this game. Like, there's really not much else to say. I mean, people might argue, Ty, Harden's defense is not that great. My counter argument to that would be, guys, he is 6'5" with 95 speed and has solid defense. I mean, you cannot hate on this James Harden. He is an S tier point guard in the game. Probably not worth his price, but he is S tier. Galaxy Up with Zach LaVine. He's slightly better than the Pink Diamond Zach LaVine, but they're both A tier. And I like Zach LaVine, but if you're asking me Zach LaVine or the Dark Matter James Harden, I'm taking James Harden every day of the week. And I like Zach LaVine. Harden is just better. Dark Matter Austin Reeves. This one is tough. This one's extremely tough. I'm going A tier. Because I've used Austin Reeves and I use Zach LaVine, and genuinely, I don't know who I'm better with. Like, I think Austin Reeves might be S tier, but I don't know, man. I'm going to throw him at A tier. I like Austin Reeves. I just think James Harden is better. Like, I just do. I don't know why. I just do. Isaiah Thomas, honestly, isn't F tier. His release is actually really solid. I've used him occasionally, and I'm going to throw him at D tier. Yes, he's undersized, but he does have a really good release. 100 overall, MJ, S tier. I mean, and this is why I don't like it, because MJ is so much better than James Harden that maybe James Harden just has to go down to A tier. But I'm going to leave him at S tier. Michael Jordan's the best point guard in the game. Obviously, you got to act like Michael Jordan doesn't exist, considering the card's like 6 million MT. But MJ is the best point guard in the game. It really is that simple, that easy. Jared McCain, I mean, I don't know. We have all these all-star cards coming. A lot of them, honestly, I haven't used a ton. Bubba Carrington, I guess I'll throw at C tier. I really don't love him, but I guess I'll throw him at C tier. Stephon Castle is extremely good. Is he A tier? Probably low end to A tier for Stephon Castle. I do think he's better than all these guys at B tier. Probably, yeah. I'm fine with that. Keontae George, not great. Scoot Henderson, not great. Cason Wallace, really solid. I think I got to throw him at C tier, right with all these other defensive point guards. J.D. Davison, not great. Mac McClung, not great. Reed Shepard, not great. Pat Spencer, not great. And again, you guys can hate on me, but I do not like a lot of these Pink Diamond All-Star cards we got. Dark Matter Steph, he's actually okay. Again, release gets better, gets quicker. Defensively, Steph becomes okay. I think probably B tier is the right tier. I don't think the card's perfect. I still think defensively he leaves something to be desired, but he is, a dark matter, and I'm going to go B tier. I think that's where he belongs. Dark matter, SGA, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is S tier. He's better than James Harden as well. The hard part is, again, you got to compare him to MJ, and he's just not in that MJ type level. Jalen Brunson, I had the card and I used him, and he's not good. Is he better than John Morant, though? Probably. C tier for Dark Matter, Jalen Brunson. I turned him into a badge, though. Like, he didn't play for me. C tier is where he belongs. Donovan Mitchell, way better than him. I think Donovan Mitchell is better than Steph Curry. I think Donovan Mitchell is at the top of A tier. I think Donovan Mitchell is actually elite. And it really comes down to he's 6'3", but his player build is elite. Like, if you've used Donovan Mitchell, you know what I'm talking about. Like, yes, you can say he's undersized, but his player build is just so good on this game that you've got to hype Donovan Mitchell up. I'm telling you right now, his player build is absolutely elite. Donovan Mitchell, the top of A tier. Damian Lillard up next. C tier, I guess. I mean, offensively, he still gives you a ton. It's just like his defense isn't great. His size is not great. C tier. Garland is horrible. F tier. Galaxy Opal Cade up next. The problem I really have with like Galaxy Opal Cade and Galaxy Opal Levine is, like, you can get the Pink Diamond versions of these cards that are souped up that are probably better than the Galaxy Opal versions, because again, their SIGs didn't change. And so I don't think Cade is bad. I actually think Cade is good. I think Zach LaVine is good, but they're still A tier. They're not S tier. There's not enough difference in the cards. Tyler Hero up next. He just doesn't blow me away. Like, I guess you could go D tier. I'm going to go C tier. Like, I just don't see it with Tyler Hero. I just don't. Yes, he's got a good moving crossover, but his release is just not great. Galaxy Opal James Harden is A tier. He's not quite S tier, but Galaxy Opal James Harden offensively is one of your better point guards in the game. I mean, again, see, like, I'm telling you, with James Harden's Galaxy Opal, you're looking at an extremely good card. Why? He sees that Harden base on very quick, right? That's huge, right? Speeds that release up. Offensively, this Galaxy Opal James Harden is going to be super tough to defend. Dark Matter, yeah, Magic. He is S tier. I mean, maybe I'd rank him like third behind SGA and MJ. Dark Matter and Magic Johnson is so tough to, defend against. Plays a ton of defense and can knock down open shots. Cheesy run into the rim. Magic is in that S tier. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Kyrie Irving, D tier. Don't like the card at all. Trae Young, although I did get cooked by Trae Young in King of the Court. Watch it. You go on my Twitch and watch my King of the Court. I got cooked by Trae Young. He is still F tier. Like, yeah, offensively he can do some things, but eventually, it's gonna catch up to him. Defensively, the card stinks. Pajemski, D tier, not great. Dark Matter, Gary Payton, one of your best point guards in the game, maybe even your second best point guard in the game behind Magic. Like, I'd argue Gary Payton is that good on this game. Like, offensively, so good. And people want to say, well, Ty, people can shoot over Gary. Like, his defense is so elite as well. I don't care. I'm throwing Gary Payton at that S tier. Jalen Green isn't bad, not necessarily great. I do think he is A tier, lower end of A tier probably, but I do think Jalen Green does deserve that A tier. D'Angelo Russell, not horrible. I'm actually gonna throw D'Lo at B tier, especially if you're running that duo with Julius Randle. I think that duo honestly is underrated. Tyrese Maxey, F tier. Topic isn't bad, probably C tier, right? A lot of these budget point guards are gonna go to C tier. I'm not super high on Max Christie compared to Topic, but some people like him more. I actually think if you're talking about like all of these budget amethysts, Keon Ellis is just as good as the rest of them. I am going to throw all of them at C tier. I actually like all of 3 of these amethyst point guards. It really is preference based for you and who you like the most. I probably lean Keon Ellis, but some people like Max Christie more. Steve Francis, he's just not good, guys. Like, until Steve Francis gets a change release, which he's not going to this year, he's not going to have a good card. He's just not. The card stinks. Dark Matter LaMelo Ball up next. And LaMelo is such an interesting card. I'm going to bring up his player card here for a second so he can talk about it for a little bit. Because, like I said, LaMelo is just such an interesting card. Because, do I love LaMelo's release? No. But he's 6'7", 95 speed, great defensively, hot spots from everywhere. I think you've got to throw him at the lower end of S tier. And I don't like LaMelo's release, but I'm just telling you, I played against LaMelo in Triple Threat Park on my No Money Spent, and he was cooking me. And he's 6'7", good release, good defense. I mean, if you're going to throw Magic at S tier, they're different cards, but I think you got to throw LaMelo Ball there. Lower end of there, but I think you got to. Kobe White with the duo. If you give him Hall of Fame or that Legend On-Ball Menace, he's an A tier point guard, right? Without the duo, Kobe White probably is in the B tier. But if you give him On-Ball Menace, you could even argue S tier. I'm going to throw him in A tier, going to throw him in that middle ground. But again, with that duo, which is where I'd run Kobe White, he's A tier. But even as a pink diamond budget point guard, the card is still decent, right? You got to badge Kobe White up without the duo, but he's still decent. I'm actually going to leave. I want to rank Kobe White, but I feel bad for the people who are getting the pink diamond Kobe White. Like, he's not A tier. Kobe White without the duo, honestly, isn't that good without the duo. So it's really tough. Without the duo, honestly, Kobe White's probably even C tier, maybe. Like, with the duo, he gets so much better defensively. I'm going to rank him B tier, but I just hope you guys hear me out with Kobe White. Like, with the duo, he is easy in that A tier. Easily. Like, no ifs, ands, or buts asked. Especially if you watch my duo video, get that Legend On-Ball Menace working. Rob Dillingham stinks. I wish the card was good, but he is F tier. He is just, simply put, not a good card in NBA 2K25 MyTEAM. That's going to wrap it up for our point guard tier list today. As always, guys, this is the approach that I've taken to the game. And if you don't believe me, look at my squad that I'm running and winning King of the Court with. You've got to act like these dark matters don't exist. Act like the 100 overalls don't exist. I mean, that's the way I approach it. Get, these pink diamonds with souped up badges, and they can go out there and compete with the top dogs. I'm telling you that right now. That's going to wrap it up, though. Drop a like on the video, guys. Subscribe if you are new. And as always, man, I love you guys. Have a blessed day.